to your post assignments. All units proceed to your post assignments.
George Trombley, Mark van Dijk, the Mark and George Show.
Hey everybody, it's George Trombley here in Busan, South Korea. This is the Mark and George Show. I'm here with my trusty sidekick. I guess I'm the sidekick, perhaps.
Hey everyone, this is Mark from Gitmo Lowlands at your service.
Gitmo Lowlands.
Gitmo
Not even sure
Lowlands.
what that means. But I hope you get out soon and back to your country.
This is Gitmo region Lowlands.
Gitmo.
It's probably a bit of a no agenda jargon.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think so. So before we get this show on the road properly, maybe we should start off by expressing our sympathies to the victims and their families and the people of New Zealand after the horrific killings that took the lives of 49 people in a terrorist attack at 2 New Zealand mosques. Have you heard about this?
I did, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I did.
One or more gunmen opened fire in 2 mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand. 3 men and 1 woman were taken into custody by local law enforcement. The extent of their involvement is unknown. One of the shooters was identified with a name that I decided I'm not going to mention because, you know, you might think it's lame or you might understand me, but I don't want to give this guy a second more than we have to. He had a Twitter account in which he posted pictures of the murder weapons 2 days before carrying out his plans. And during the attacks, he streamed the whole rampage live to Facebook. And the weapons can also be seen in that video. Right before he started killing people, he posted links to a confusing and self-contradicting manifesto on Twitter. In it, he had a Q&A to himself, in which he starts off by saying he's 20 years old, he wasn't great at school, didn't attend university, he isn't a conservative, isn't a Christian, he identifies as what he calls an ethno-state advocating eco-fascist. And he said he's been working part-time as a kebab removalist. He said he wanted to show the invaders that our lands will never be their lands and that they will never replace our people. Well, you know, there are valuable clues in the manifesto to his radicalization, but what it contains most of all are a lot of references to online culture. In particular, the type of expression that can be found on forums like 4chan and 8chan. That's what's so striking, to me at least. It's laced with these references to online culture. He was playing to a very specific crowd, and the stream video of his massacre even begins with him telling his viewers to subscribe to PewDiePie. So, as I see it, the manifesto seems to have the intention to sow discord and amplify his sick views across the world by use of the media. Online.
Is he dead now? I didn't
no, he's arrested.
Oh, he didn't kill himself.
Well, I think that was part of his plan, because he also said, well, if I don't survive this, and then he left some notes. Yeah, his manifesto is being taken seriously by the same online commentators and the mass media, who are quick to take bait and condemn all conservative culture, even stuff like Kekistan and that kind of thing. And the reason I'm bothered by it.
Wait, what is Kekistan?
You never followed when Trump became more popular that the memes were starting to, they became these Pepe memes. Pepe the Frog, Kekistan. You know, it became a pretty big.
I'm sorry, Pakistan or what are you saying?
K-E-K, Kekistan. Like praise Kek.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a long story, and I don't really want to get into it. It's just my point is, you know, that.
Is that like a typo that he did or something?
No. This is a known phenomenon. You've just not paid attention to this part. Might have been.
I'm not on the
too much of an online thing. Yeah. Well, but the reason I'm bothered by it, that
I don't mean to. I'm sorry. Is that a country?
No. let's
No, we can move on. But could you just send me that text so I can search for it?
It's a part of the whole Pepe meme thing that became more popular when Donald Trump.
The frog.
Yes.
The frog thing.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Praise Keck and all that kind of stuff. So to get back on my story, because I kind of prepared this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The problem is his manifesto is being taken seriously by the same online commentators and mass media who are quick to take debate and condemn all online conservative culture.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Did you perhaps watch the Steven Crowder?
Well, let me just finish my story first, okay? And then we can get into that, because I did, but I just want to get this out of the way, because I want to touch it once and then never again. The problem...
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have
Jesus Christ, George. Can you just let me do my story here? I want to get it out.
Well, I have a manifesto I'd like you to read.
Jesus Christ.
People going to church for you to even listen to it?
All right. Well, go ahead, George.
No, keep reading. I'm just preparing my manifesto while you read. Go ahead.
Do you really think this is the kind of topic we should joke around on?
I'm not joking. I have a manifesto. I'm preparing it.
All right. So my story here is, what I am annoyed by is that the people, the online commentators, and especially the mass media, are very quick to take the bait here of that manifesto of this guy and condemn all online conservative culture, blanket just everything. And this is exactly what this terrorist wants, purposely implicating as many possible corners of the internet sphere, left and right, shitlord and normie, which are also the online terms, for people who like to frequent 4chan, 8chan, that kind of thing, versus the people who...
heard of that term.
No, because you're a normie. You're the opposite side. So, but that doesn't really matter.
Are you a shitlord?
The purpose here is he's... it's a purposeful attempt to trigger a mass conflict. And secondly, let's be honest about one thing. These same people are always so quick to highlight the incidental nature of these things when they are taken out by Muslim terrorists. When Allah Akbar is yelled before people are being killed, run over, raped, then it is in no way a reflection on others who worship Allah. It's the actions of an individual. But if he yells subscribe to PewDiePie before killing 49 people, everyone who has ever said subscribe to PewDiePie or supported PewDiePie is now complicit, according to these people. And this is what I got really annoyed by while watching the online discourse today. Is being highly politicized, blame PewDiePie, tie the event to Trump, tie to Tommy Robinson, tie to Dutch politician Geert Wilders, even tie it to Steven Crowder, Candace Owens, and PewDiePie. This guy...
even Steven Crowder?
Yeah, well...
Hang on, I'm sorry. I hadn't heard that part.
People are, they take this manifesto in which everyone in every part of online and offline culture, is being thrown into a big pile because this guy wanted to do a cluster bomb damage as many parts of society as possible. And right now, people are just choosing people they don't like and tie this atrocity to them. Like, I don't like John Bolton. It's his fault. I don't like Steven Crowder. It's his fault. It forces people onto the defense, and I think that's absurd. PewDiePie, Candace Owens, they have to come out now to disavow these atrocities merely because a far-right extremist mentioned them in this manifesto. So I found a nice quote from journalist Michael Tracy on Twitter, which he said, he obviously hates leftists as well. However, he devotes more space to maligning conservatives. He perceives the delegitimization of conservatives as integral to achieving his ultimate objective. So to me, it's very clear, studying this thing today, that the intent of this guy and the atrocities he's committed was to sow division, to fuel social discourse and to disrupt it, to increase hate and to spark some kind of ideological race war. So for once and for all, and I'm sure I'm speaking for both of us here, we disavow violence, bigotry, racism. We condemn it, and we want nothing to do with it. And the best thing we can do to stop this is to not give it any more attention to this guy and his far-right ideas and intentions. That was
well, I learned more about him in your discussion than I had even from what I already knew. But there was a Steven Crowder. It was the only video I've seen on this, and he said something really interesting. He said, "Go read the manifesto, and then all day long, take a few hours, and watch what the left side media says,
right,
and see how they twist it,
right, exactly,
to form to their story." I thought that was a really interesting take on it.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's so annoying, especially exactly for the reason I just gave. They don't, they don't act in a fair way, because when there's a Muslim terror incident, then they are quick to say this is an incident. Or here in Holland, they say, well, this person was just confused, which is the going term for the Dutch media too. Every incident of Muslim terror, they call it a confused person, and they kind of hush it in the media. But now, of course, when it's clearly that there's a right wing asshole doing just these insane things.
I'm sorry, I have not ever heard a Muslim terrorist called being referred to as confused. Is that common? I've never heard that. Like, yeah,
you're in this country, it's very common.
Oh, they say they're confused and they were mistaken or something like that? Or they saying
that they were just a confused person,
What is that? That must mean something in the Netherlands. I don't know what that means here. To be confused is like, I don't know this math problem and I'm confused as how to solve it. But
well, yeah, that's how it sounds to me too. It sounds totally absurd, to be honest. But
well, it's like in America, every time some high official like Kennedy or Martin Luther King is killed, it's a lone gunman. It seems like maybe it wasn't a lone gunman. Like maybe it was planned by the FBI or something. And it's going to be this one crazy guy that did it.
Well, that's
never a conspiracy.
That's kind of how it is over here. But they start off with confused person. A confused person stabbed 2 people on a train station, stuff like that.
Interesting.
And then if people keep asking questions and later, there might come something out. Well, maybe, but never, terrorist motives or anything, just confused people. But here they pack out big, they give you the whole narrative. Yeah, this is all because of right-wing extremists and they're forming clans. And, this is the problem because of Trump and because of Tommy Robinson and even for Jesus Christ, for PewDiePie, which is just insane, which is insane. That's
I never understood the connection where
is biased.
There you go.
Oh, I was like, he has a clip. I wasn't ready for a clip. I never understood the connection. Even when I was much more liberal, when they would say something like a Trump supporter does this, like that doesn't matter if a imagine if someone said, Jeff Thompson, made up name, by the way. Hopefully I didn't actually name someone right now. I'm sure I did. Jeff Thompson, studier of Japanese with Japanese from Zero book, kills 2 people in the subway.
Yep, your fault.
Wait a minute. That has nothing to do with me.
And the author of the Japanese from Zero book series might be a Trump supporter.
He declined comment. We reached out for comment with George Trombley this morning. He declined. Oh, he must be hiding something.
Yep.
That's when the bell's needed right there. That's the bell.
Yeah, no, this is a disgusting situation that has happened. It makes all of the other news. I was looking around for interesting topics to talk about, but this just casts a shadow over all of it. It's insane, and the idea that there are people who wouldn't even condemn it or would even enable this guy. It's even worse. It's disgusting.
I didn't realize he was so young.
Yep.
I mean, I literally don't know anything about the story except that I knew we talked about it yesterday that you were going to do something on it tonight, and what I saw in Steven Crowder. That's about really all I knew. So I didn't realize you said 49 people?
49 people killed. I think another 40 or 50 wounded, And
That's crazy.
the guy he broadcast everything on Facebook live.
Was he live streaming it?
He was, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I did see some snippet of an article that was like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter have hard time dealing with live video of massacre, and I think that they must have been talking about that then.
Yeah, could be. And also pages. I mean, people can find this stuff. It's just I don't even want to name other outlets where this can be found. It's a bad situation.
For a while.
It really the thing is that people who politicize this into the left or the right category are doing this guy a service because that's what he wanted. That's his whole manifesto is about, inflicting as much damage as possible on the whole spectrum. Try to start off wars, race wars, increase polarization and everything. And that's
it's obvious the guy is crazy. I mean, you don't kill 49 people if you're not absolutely bonkers crazy.
Or fanatic.
There's something I realized the other day, and we've done a lot of talking on this show just about kind of understanding the gray of human psyche, and we're not black and white, we're not left or right, but we kind of stand in this gray zone. And I was thinking about when it was actually, I think it was a Brexit related story where they were talking about Irish terrorists. I think this was actually you that might have even said something that or maybe it was, I don't remember where I heard it, but some NRA had placed some bombs and they found a few of them. This must have been a story I read, but here's the weird thing that happened to me. It didn't seem real because, and I'm going to say something controversial, because I'm like, why would white people place a bomb somewhere? That's what I was thinking in my mind. And I realized, oh my God, I'm completely programmed to think they must be Muslim people that do this sort of thing. Even though obviously I'm not in any way racist or anti-Muslim. I'm anti-religion of any form. I hate religion, but I'm certainly not anti-Muslim. But I find that the narrative that's been put out there, regardless of how many people say Muslims it's a peaceful Islam is a peaceful religion, I have been affected by the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it hard for me to believe that a white person, because I imagine I literally have no idea, but I imagine everyone in Ireland must be white, right, with red hair. So it just felt weird to me.
Green pants,
green eyes,
black and green trousers.
They're all standing at the bottom of a rainbow with a pot of gold.
Yeah, pot of gold. Yo. Yep. There's me Irish.
Now that's a transition out of a story right there.
Excellent. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's of course you've got your own biases. I've got them too. I catch myself on them as well. And
but the weird thing is logically, I would never ever feel that on the surface, but there's something in the subconscious that's been given to me by whatever media I've consumed.
Would it be media? Just media?
Yeah, whatever media I have consumed.
Yeah, maybe it's also part of growing up. But for you, of course, you grew up mainly with Japanese people. So,
well, certainly I didn't grow up. I grew up with literally no politics in Japan as a kid. All I was doing was learning the language. But when I came back to the United States, I'm pretty sure that's when I got indoctrinated into whatever I believed. I say believed because it's been shifting quite significantly.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder whether it's a genetic thing.
What?
That people are genetically predisposed to feeling safer with people of the same ethnicity.
Oh yeah, there must be something with that. There must be something about being around quote unquote your own kind, yeah,
could be.
It's weird though, like what I feel so safe in Japan because my brain tells me Japanese people would never commit a crime. I grew up in Japan. obviously. So in Japan, I don't know. I don't think you said you'd ever been there, but like, I don't worry about walking into a restaurant, setting down my wallet and my phone, going up and ordering, and then coming back. I literally don't worry about that. Although I should, I don't.
I heard this story once of a person in Japan forgetting their wallet on top of their bike, and then when they returned, it was still there. Like after an hour or 2 hours.
If you lose something, you just go back to where it was.
Yeah.
And you leave it.
Or you go to the police station.
Or you bring it to the police box.
Yeah. Police box. Yeah, it's very 50s over there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way in Korea, though. I basically implicitly trust Korean people, too, also, for some reason. Although I do feel they're a little bit shadier than Japanese people. I still trust them implicitly.
Is it true that they don't really look at you?
Okay. So, I would say I notice it that I felt that in Seoul. In Seoul, I felt like, I walked around in Seoul about 2 years ago or 3 years ago wearing a replica jacket from the Gangnam Style video and these side glasses trying to get reactions. And literally no one looked at me. And I was very...
Look the other way?
Sad. They didn't know. They don't even look. Like, I don't even know how they don't bump into people every 2 seconds because they're not looking up. But maybe it's because I'm in Busan now. I do notice people making a quick glance to see me.
Right.
But then they just immediately look away when they see how ugly I am.
I see. Well, so...
yeah, I was expecting a lot more reactions with my size suit. I feel like in Japan, I would have got it.
Maybe they avoided you.
Yeah. Another thing, this is another weird thing. I feel
crazy
like
white guy.
Now, like, there's two things I thought. Either one, I'm older now, so I'm not worth looking at. I'm just an older man now. And also the other thing, I think the internet has affected everything. I felt a little bit different in Japan this time because people, it's not so rare to see a foreigner on the internet. You can see them all the time. But when I lived in Japan, when a foreigner was in front of you, wow, that was a pretty interesting experience.
Doesn't happen
but not now. Well, if you were in Japan, think about it back in the day when there was no internet, you either watched TV. So the only foreigners that you saw were famous people on TV.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't meet with them regularly. So there was a lot of excitement.
I do know a story about a very blonde girl who used to live close to me, went to Japan, and when she was there, everybody wanted to touch her hair.
Oh yeah,
especially
that's
girls,
definitely a thing.
So I've got one.
I like to I'm so excited when I see Japanese people. I like to touch all parts of their body too. It's very exciting.
I'm sure it is, George.
Hit that bell.
Hit that bell, huh? Yeah. So I've got one story that we'll get into later. Gonna go off a little bit on something I heard on a video. But why don't you kick it off with your first story?
Well, gosh, I don't mean to get... it's going to be a little bit heavy.
Okay, cool.
Mark.
George.
Have you ever flown a 737? A Boeing 737?
Yes, of course. I fly them all, man. It's my UFO.
Chilling leaked messages from the doomed Ethiopian Airlines flight seem to indicate that the Boeing 737 was out of control. This is reported on Uproxx, UPROXX.
You want to set it up a bit, like what happened with the 7? Yeah.
Okay. I'm totally on your radar there. Speaking of radar, 2 737 MAX 8s made by Boeing have crashed within 6 months, which is very, very rare. For the same airplane that crashed within 6 months indicates a problem. So this was the second Boeing 737 MAX 8 that crashed. It was in Ethiopia. Both planes reported on takeoff immediately veering nose downward. And the pilots of both flights did call in to request a landing vector back to the airport. But what's the word here? Subsequently, they both crashed, killing everyone on board.
Yeah.
And apparently there was messages from people on the airplane talking about the plane going up and down to confirm what. By the way, Boeing is basically denying the problem, and one of the, in a weird kind of move, America normally is on the leading edge of fixing problems like this. We're one of the rare countries that is still flying the 737 MAX 8, whereas many other countries, including the EU, have banned the takeoff, landing, and even flying over of a Boeing 737 MAX.
Yeah, I read this about Japanese airspace. 737 is no longer accepted there.
Right. I flew on a 737-800. I thought maybe I was on a MAX 8 commercial jet. So this is actually very big news.
Yep. Happened after a software update, I think.
Well, now Boeing is denying that there's a problem, but they have a fix in the works for this non-existent problem.
Wow, isn't that interesting, huh?
Yeah, and I listened to Rachel Maddow. Who, I'm sure you know who she is. She did a very good report on this, where there are public records that pilots can, I guess they can anonymously, or I don't know if it's anonymous, but without fear of problems with their job, they can report problems. And there's quite a few reports talking about this, the Boeing 737 MAX 8 having this problem where the moment they turn on autopilot, they are told by the airplane, don't dip. And the airplane then does some sort of correction where it brings the nose down. And the only way to pull out of this dive is to turn off the automatic pilot. Yeah. So it's obviously some problem with the automatic pilot.
It's an awful situation.
And luckily, those people that made that report had turned off the automatic pilot to fix the problem. And so it's not like it's an unknown problem now.
I think the last thing I heard about this was that the black box was found off from the Ethiopian crash site. By the way, have you seen the images of the crash site? Maybe
I haven't.
It's very different from the crash site I remember from the where was it, the plane that fell from the sky during the 11th.
That 9/11, right? Where the plane completely disappeared. The first time in the history of the world, a plane didn't have any signs of a wreckage. It doesn't matter how hard you hit a mountain. There are parts of an airplane left. And
I still remember vividly those images. There was just like it was like they just took a little bit of ground, out of dirt, out of the ground. They dug a
trench.
Right? Yeah.
They dug a trench and they threw some garbage on top of it.
Nothing like this. This was just scattered parts everywhere. Still smoke coming from the ground.
And apparently they didn't recover any body parts or anything. Like literally nothing identifiable was pulled from the wreckage.
Yeah. Where? Ethiopia?
No, not Ethiopia. No, I'm talking about the 9/11.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah, man. That was a weird situation.
Documentary Loose Change was where I first learned about that. That was there was a while where all I would watch was 9/11 conspiracy documentaries.
Oh, well, there you go. So you know all about the BBC reporting on towers collapsing before it happened?
Before it happened.
Oh, man. Yeah, I still remember that stuff. Where were you when the planes hit the towers?
Well, funnily, is that a word?
It is.
My wife, we were in my house. My wife had a ticket to Japan. We were maybe 20 minutes away from going to the airport to drop her off for her flight, and got a phone call from one of our friends down the street that said, turn on the TV. And that's when it all kind of opened up, figured it out. And of course, all the flights across the United States were canceled. And my wife wasn't able to go. It was, I think it was 3 or 4 days that there was no flights allowed. And man, I tell you, I was ready to go to war. And I'm very anti-war, but I was ready to go to war. I was extremely pumped up. Yeah. So if you want to ask what's the effectiveness of something like that to get a population to turn against an ideology or a country or whatever you want to say, whatever caused it, if that is indeed a conspiracy where the government was trying to get us to want to go to war, it worked because I was ready to go to war.
Right. Well, it did. They gave the reason pretty quickly. Immediately after
the news was pontificating that it could be Osama bin Laden before any information came out.
Right. But if you look at these troubles with the airplanes, the 737s, then it's all going very slowly, and they're figuring out what's going on, and then, it's so different. There are so many parallels that are just not parallels, but so many situations that, well, the differences are so big. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Between
who was that guy's passport that they found? Omar or something or other. They just found this pristine passport
on the ground,
blocks away.
Yep.
Yeah, it's totally
strange.
What an amazing stroke of luck.
And then Larry Silverstein, gave an interview in which he said about,
we decided to pull it.
Yeah, man. Oh, that was weird. But I don't get why. I expected to see more people, comparing this plane crash that happened in Ethiopia, killed so many people, to what we saw in, was it Oklahoma?
You mean the federal building in Oklahoma that was bombed? Yeah. Why would they compare it to that?
No, I mean the where the plane scratched the earth, mysteriously disappeared. Was that also Oklahoma?
I don't know. No, it wasn't Oklahoma. I can't remember where it was. I think it was Virginia or somewhere, right? I'm not exactly sure. Well, definitely, if you guys, if the listeners have time, go watch that Loose Change documentary. I don't know if that's the main one to watch now. I don't know if you have a better one you can recommend, but that was actually pretty interesting.
Well, there's one I watched that made me doubt everything with regards to the both the official story and the non-official story. I'm not sure if it's still online, but it was like a 4 or 5 hour interview with this Russian guy called Dmitry Kalesov. He said that the both twin towers collapsed in on itself after the explosion of nuclear bomb underneath the towers that were there since the towers were constructed. His argument for it is that they had to have a demolition plan for when the towers were built, because that was one of the laws that was in, I think, a state law that for every building you made, you also had to submit a plan on how to demolish it if it was ever needed. And here the plan was to use a very an underpass. Fill up the hole that would be formed by this nuclear device with the top of the building not being turned to dust, and basically sealing off the hole that was formed with the rest of the the powder, because it was pulverized inside of the ground. And he had some arguments that were interesting, because I can still remember a month after the Twin Tower, situation, there was still molten steel being pulled from the ground. Remember that part?
Well, I remember from the documentary, they talked about number one, they talked that steel doesn't melt because of jet fuel. That was the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Even in its weakened state, in the history of airplanes crashing into buildings, a skyscraper. Did I say skyscraper? Oh my God, I'm Dutch all of a sudden. A skyscraper has never fallen.
Thanks for that one.
Has never fallen. I think for any circumstance, it might have never fallen. And I forget the name of the chemical that they found, nitrite, or what was it? The chemical that they use in planned demolitions.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm talking about? I forget the name. I wish. Again,
I think so.
We definitely need a sound. George is talking out of his ass.
Well, no, you're not talking out of your ass. This is interesting stuff. Remember those dogs with the socks? They couldn't walk the ground because then their feet would burn, like the first, second degree burns. So they had to wear these socks because everything was still so hot. It was totally weird story.
I didn't know
so this one was the name was Dmitry Kalesov, and I'm sure the whole interview can still be found somewhere. He said that there used to be a treaty for the peaceful that allowed between countries the peaceful deployment of nuclear weapons, so non-warfare nuclear not weapons, but bombs, basically. And they, it was said, if I remember correctly, that they would also use the same technology to create underground like spheres. So they would drill a hole, drop a bomb, it would explode like a nuclear bomb. It would explode because it is so hot. The sides would turn into glass, making making the whole thing hermetically sealed, and that would be a useful place to store gases, like the kind of gas fuel that you don't want to get.
I have no idea how to think
ground.
about this. I'm rolling my eyes at the same time. I'm thinking, really? Is this? It seems just enough information to feel true, but yet to say, like, I can't believe that I'm 46 years old, and I've never heard that we might have had nuclear bombs underneath buildings to demolish them.
Well, is this something you would want the public to know?
No, but that doesn't make it true.
No, but it also,
because it's so crazy because it's something that you would want to hide, doesn't make it true.
Well, you want to hide it when the buildings are still up for obvious reasons. But afterwards, after this, immense disaster, you can also not talk about it again. But here's another interesting thing. Very interesting, in my opinion. If you look at dictionaries before the year 2001, and you look up ground zero, there's just one meaning behind the word, which is the site where a nuclear explosion occurred.
Okay.
Well, that's what they call, ground zero. Everyone called it ground zero.
Ground
and then
zero.
the dictionary started adding meanings to the word. It was very interesting.
Okay, but I mean, I don't think the dictionary. I know. I see. I know where you're going. I understand. I get it. Ground zero is, Hiroshima. Ground zero. I've been to ground zero of Hiroshima, the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes it more plausible.
I don't know either. I'm just a guy making a podcast, man. I've got no idea what I'm talking about. I have a memory for these things. They're the most interesting thing I just ever read, basically, even from just a physics perspective, is they still pulled out the molten steel a month after the Twin Towers.
But see, that
collapsed.
can be explained not due to a nuclear weapon. That's explained with the chemical that was used to demolish the building normally. I can't remember the name, not nitrate, but some word that sounds like that. That
doesn't melt steel and keep it hot for a month.
Yeah, but okay, nuclear.
And by the way,
nuclear bomb would have radioactivity for hundreds of thousands of years.
Yes.
And it wouldn't be livable. You wouldn't be livable in downtown New York.
Right, well, at least it depends on how intense the bomb is. This Dimitri guy, I think he said 150 kilotons or something, but it kind of depends. And also the conditions of blasting such a thing off inside of the air, inside of the earth, are very different from doing it in open air. If you do it in open air, man, you have to evacuate whole cities. But if you do it on the ground, then it's pretty contained. And that was the plan. Like, the top of the building would collapse onto the rest. It would create like a hermetic seal. And, well, yeah, of course. But remember how much people...
I need a bell.
Why?
Oh, my God. I don't know. It's just like, then, okay. I've always kind of believed. Oh, now you need the bell. Okay, thank you. I've always kind of believed 9/11 was an inside job, but we're going so long on this nuclear bomb conspiracy. It seems crazier than anything I've ever heard in my entire life.
That's the only part I'm still not convinced of, is that it was an inside job, to be honest.
All right, here's what I found right now on the Daily Commercial News website here. Despite strong contrary arguments a McMaster University engineering professor steadfastly maintains the collapse of the 3 World Trade Center buildings after the infamous 9/11 attacks can only be adequately explained if controlled demolition is part of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
In the controversial paper, the authors reflect the overarching premise of the, I don't know what this, it says AE 9/11 Truth. I don't know what that is, which has collected 2,936 signatures from engineers and architects.
Architects and Engineers 911. That's, I think, the name of the movement.
AE 9/11 Truth. Okay. Among those petition signatories are 19 who earned their respective degrees in Canada, including 15 who live here. I guess is out of Canada here.
Man, but you know, the thing is, especially just after it happened, especially the internet, it got flooded with theories. It got flooded with hypotheses. There was another one about thermite, because that stuff also, when it ignites.
That's what it was. Not nitrate. Thermite.
There you go.
Thermite.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, stuff burns really hot, but it doesn't burn very long.
It's used in controlled demolition, and they rush the quote-unquote evidence.
Yeah, man. Remember those
from the site right away.
The steel, it was all packed and shipped to China. Adios.
Right.
There
was no, whereas normally you'd have an investigation, but apparently that didn't happen.
Nope. Didn't happen.
Not a good one, at least. There was the 9/11 commission, but
so many people who got cancer from there.
Well, yeah, from breathing the dust.
Yeah. Which is,
it's funny. There was this is a related, but there was a woman that for the whole time after the 9/11 event was claiming that she was the complete story, but she was actually even.
She claimed to be inside of the building?
Yeah, she claimed to be inside of the building. Her story even changed later on, that she got saved by some particular guy that came out in the news later on. And she was even like the leader of one of the most well-known victim groups. And she was instrumental in getting them access to things. And she was really good at her job, but she was completely fabricating the story.
Well, see, nothing is as it seems. And also what I found is when just right after this whole disaster, when the media was still interviewing people on the streets, they always had the same people talking to the cameras. And the strangest part was that the people who spoke in front of the cameras all repeated the narrative that just came out. This is a terrorist attack. It's we know who the perpetrator is. All of that stuff. And if you look right now,
because let me call BS on that, because I remember there was a lot of people saying they heard 3 explosions before. That they were completely not saying the narrative that is the current story, because they didn't.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, no, but I mean, those were.
They were saying there was a bomb in the lobby of one of the buildings.
Yeah, at the ground,
and the plaster had fallen off the wall and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even the firefighters were saying that.
Yep, and that they saw puffs of smoke before the towers collapsed, which are also on video. So.
Well, that's from that conspiracy video where they show the obvious signs of demolition, where you can see the blasting caps going off as the building's falling.
Now, how did we get to September the 11th again?
You got me, man. You have to go back and listen to the show, man. I mean, that's what happens on. Everyone knows historically, show 17. For any major broadcast is all about 9/11.
Somebody once told me that 17 is the number for the Illuminati. There you go.
NASA is the German breakaway government.
Speaking of people interviewing on the streets,
Mm-hmm.
I have a pet theory here. If you asked 1,000 Americans on the street how many towers went down during 9/11, I think 99% would say 2.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't think about building number 7.
Right. Because
it wasn't hit by, it was not hit by an airplane.
Yeah.
So you tell me, how does the 3rd building go down? It was demolished by the government.
We decided to pull it.
To hide their deceit.
Did you know what was going on in Tower Number 7?
Yeah, it was the headquarters for the FBI, CIA, Metropolitan Police. Like everything was headquartered there in that building.
Yeah.
And that might have been the entire reason the damn towers were taken down.
Yep, that's it. I think so.
I need you to play a clip of me talking about Germany and NASA. I need to hear that right now.
NASA is the German breakaway government.
There you go.
And that German breakaway government is what took down the 9/11 towers.
Next story.
That's my band, which I'm playing at the we'll be at the Hilton all week this week.
Amen.
We're called the Truthers.
911 Truth.
No, we're just called the Truthers because it was not just about 9/11.
I still wonder how did we end up here, but I'll listen to the show again.
Can I say on a more light note, I was listening to show 16, the last show.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you.
I legit.
No kidding.
The only thing I didn't like about it was that I already knew what was going to happen because I was on it. But I felt a little bit sad that I'm on the show because I would have enjoyed listening to it for the first time.
Yeah, that sucks. Making a podcast. This is like we're making the spoilers as they occur.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was like the greatest show on earth, but I liked it was fairly relaxed, a lot less interruptions of me. Normally I interrupt you. We were letting each other breathe and there was actually moments of silence, like a little bit of silence, and it didn't bother me at all.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I do feel like we're coming into our own.
We are. And only 16 shows in. You should have heard No Agenda show 16. It was awful. No. I'm kidding,
really?
kidding. No.
Oh man, I was hoping you had like a clip to play. So John, I'm sorry, it's a little bit of a cold today.
Maybe it was more like,
wait,
all right, fuck this. I'm done. No. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I think I was doing the Dark Sewer Network right now. I don't know what I was doing right now.
Yep. Closer to the Dark Sewer Network. Anyway, George.
We're going off the rails.
That reminds me of DuckTales. You know that? Remember that old animation?
Hold on to DuckTales. We're going off the rails. Maybe John Fletcher can make that one for us. Woo. By the way, did I tell you we've got a fan account on Twitter?
No. Did you make it?
Nope. No, of course not. That would really be really lame.
Wait, an actual fan account at this stage in the game?
Yes, sir.
I mean, what's up there?
We can find it at, let me just figure out the location for this. Damn it. I've got like 4 Twitter pages open here. Where is it? Let me see.
Someone made a account with me from my live streams. It's called George Trumpley, and they take everything crazy that I've said and assign it to the name George Trumpley as like a quote.
Nice.
And when you read me out of context, I'm really bad.
Well, this one is the Mark and George Show podcast. It's TMAGS podcast at Twitter.
Right.
The Mark and George Show fan club. Heyo.
What?
Heyo.
Is that even possible?
Yep, and he called me out already. He called me out. He said,
"Oh,
you didn't make show notes for show numbers 14 and 15 with funny memes." It's really cool. You have to look at the tweets and replies, and there's the one meme with the guy who's walking with his girlfriend, and then the guy's looking at the other girl who's passing.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
So
did he made a picture for it?
Yeah, the guy is Mark. The girl who's looking at him with disgust is episode 14 and 15 show notes. And Mark is looking at episode 16 show notes.
That's such an inside thing to talk. Like people. Here's the thing. I always thought, why is he making these show notes? Why is he making show notes? Who cares about show notes?
Everyone cares.
Some people care.
This is the most important part of the show because people want to do their own research.
Yeah, I guess.
It's very
You realize
important.
that means you have to put the manifesto up now from the New Zealand shooting.
Oh, well, maybe. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Should I? Really? Do you think so? Should I put that?
Now, of course, now that I said
guess.
it, you absolutely have to, right?
I don't even know where it is. I just found
Well, I'm sure you can
citations
find
of it. Maybe we should host it.
Here's a. You want me to get the domain right now?
Bandmanifesto.com. We shouldn't joke about this too soon.
No. Well, hey, it's never too soon to joke, is it?
That's true.
Here's something from the George Trumpley account. This is a direct quote from me. What's my price to go 100% gay? Death. I have to die before I go 100% gay.
Yeah, that's something like you would say on one of your shows. George created a T-shirt that said, "I'm 7% gay."
Yeah. But then I had to make a correction because a lot of people were doing math. Like, so wait a minute, every 7 people that you have sex with are men?
Yeah.
So wait a minute, let me recalculate this number because oh man, hang on, there's another. Okay, this is from November 27th. This is a quote from George Trumpley. I've already given my conditions for gay sex. That's from the 7% gay discussion. Yeah. I'm hoping the Mark and George fan club has much better quotes from me and you.
We'll see. Be kind to us.
They could have just me laughing crazily at a woman dying by watching a YouTube video to have her baby.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that gave you quite a chuckle.
I was laughing hard. Here's the thing. I was laughing at me laughing at it on the train here in Busan.
And then you reached an internal eternal loop. An internal infinite loop. There.
Oh, I broke for sure.
The story was about a woman, for the people who didn't listen to last show, who watched instruction videos on YouTube that told her how to deliver her own child. And then
while she was trying to deliver her own child.
Yes.
She was watching tutorials.
Yeah.
And it struck a funny bone in me for some reason. And I could not stop laughing.
Yes.
At just the idiotic stupidity of the whole thing just hit me really, really. Yeah, even though
sometimes the most gruesome things can, create this image in your mind that makes it funny.
Yeah.
Not sure if you want to eternalize that on a podcast, but no, it was a funny moment. We have our moments on the Mark and George show.
I think his wife is fantastically beautiful. I saw the pictures. We all looked at the pictures, right? There's nude pictures of her online. It's nice. Great.
You're quoting the George Trumpley account again?
Yeah, I was talking about Melania Trump.
I wanted to guess. I would have never guessed that one.
I got to stop looking at this. Mark.
George.
As I struggle to find a quick quote to ask you, I'm trying to make a seamless change to the next story. Did you know Michael Jackson likes children?
He does?
Well, he did.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Michael Jackson was captured on vintage security cam footage with a little boy, and coverage from the time is wild. This is from, of all places, I don't know the origination of this story, but it's from Perez Hilton, where I saw this article.
Origination.
Yes, the origination. He was caught on a store with a
Camera.
boy. He was with a young boy, and he was in disguise. And this is one of the children that was actually part of the Leaving Neverland documentary. James, his name is James Safechuck. He's one of the accusers. And there's video of him from security cam from from when he was a child.
Mhm.
And it says here, as anyone who's seen the doc knows, there's a particularly disturbing moment in which James shows the jewelry he claims Michael would give him as a reward for committing sexual acts with him, saying,
Wait, what? That's
yeah. So he would give the kid this James Safechuck jewelry for performing the acts on him. And this is a quote from the video. He would say that I need to sell him some so I can earn the gift.
earn the gift. Wow, you're creeping me out, dude.
Right. So Zales employees, Zales is a jewelry store. That's the jewelry store in the video. Noticed the obvious disguise and worried he was casing the jewelry store to rob it. And someone from the store said, he was very serious, even in the store. That's what tipped my manager off that something was wrong because he acted very, very nervous. And when a security guard confronted him about the disguise, he explained it was because he was the world's
King
most
of
famous
pop.
pop star.
Yeah.
Right. And he uncovered just enough to prove it. And it made everything okay.
What, he
walking around with a
took his
12-year-old.
nose off, or?
I'm not sure how his nose was looking back then.
Look, this is me.
Oh my God, I actually have a clip. I didn't notice it, but I don't think I can play it. I'm going to send you the link, and I want you to play this clip if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's Bill O'Reilly, which makes it very good.
Okay.
Hang on.
Sure. Let's play
This
some
is
Bill.
go ahead and scroll
O'Reilly.
down. This is Bill O'Reilly laughing off the incident in his vintage. They like to use the word. Perez Hilton likes this word vintage. This is from Inside Edition.
Was detained
Right around
in
the
a
time that he
jewelry
said-
store for being
Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
was detained in a jewelry store for being a suspicious character. He told them who he was. They didn't believe him because he didn't look anything like a rock idol. Here's what happened.
Be careful
Sometimes
with.
he goes shopping, so he wears a disguise. That's exactly what he did when he went into this shopping mall in Simi Valley, California. Jackson was in a Zales jewelry store with a 12-year-old friend on Monday pricing rings. The sales clerk at Zales noticed a suspicious character who seemed to be wearing a disguise. The disguised shopper asked a few questions, then went into another store where he was caught on a surveillance video camera.
So if we get pulled from YouTube, to all of our
Yeah,
YouTube
we'll get
listeners,
Yeah.
please use your RSS subscriber thing, use Spotify or whatever, because even something simple like this from a
hate
clip from
that- I hate
1989 can get us, kicked off of YouTube, and we've got our own system anyway. So just subscribe.
Well, the good news is that this is actually on. Sorry, this is actually on YouTube, so it should be okay.
Yeah, who knows though?
By the time he got back to Zales, mall security and Simi Valley police were on hand to unmask the suspicious shopper. Jackson immediately identified himself and told the officers, of course, this is not
Yeah.
the first time Jackson has been seen in disguise. He's often been spotted in New York City or when on tour in various costumes.
God, remember? I think this was 1989, so I was 5.
Not 12, huh?
I was the biggest Michael Jackson fan of all of them. I wanted my father to cut out the newspaper articles about him. I wanted those pants, black pants with a white stripe on the side. I wanted to know all of his moves. Oh man, I was such a huge Michael Jackson fan. Yeah, for me, he was the definition of cool. I still remember when one of my family members asked, "Are you happy?" And then I said, "No, I'm never happy. I'm cool." I wanted to be him.
I remember getting the Thriller album. I was really thrilled.
Yeah. Hey-o. Nice one.
What is the hail? Because Howard Stern does that, and I don't know where he gets it from. But I'm curious where you're getting it. Where did you first hear? Hey, Johnny Carson.
Hey-o.
That's where it comes from.
I don't know. It just
Go
works.
do me a favor. Do a search for Johnny Carson Heyo, and I think we can hear the original.
All right. Carson. Hey-o.
It might have been
It's
Ed
just-
McMahon that said
It's so
it.
nice to say it. Hey-o.
But I'm wondering, it seems like you do it when you've made some sort of link to yourself from something. I was listening to this show yesterday. And I think you said it like 3 or 4 times. Can we get someone to make a compilation of Mark saying "Heyo"? That's what I want to hear. Well, that's not Johnny Carson.
No, I don't even know what it is. It's just a "Heyo" with 911 views. YouTube's suggestions, ever since they changed the algorithm to only include stupid content, which is a different way of saying, push all of the inconvenient content further down. They're like, your ears can indicate your health. Don't ignore these 8 factors. And then you see 4 Q-tips with ear snot on them.
Here I found this.
This is a Japanese word for earwax, right? Ear snot.
It's mimi no aka or mimi kuso.
Yeah,
that's another way. Me kuso.
Oh, you're right.
Kuso,
ear poop. Ear poop.
Yeah, ear poop, eye poop, and nose poop.
Nose poop.
For booger. Hana kuso. I mean, not that this matters, but in Korean, the way that you say snot is kolmul, and it literally means nose water.
Well, that sounds a little bit more friendly than nose poop.
I guess. Well, yes, exactly. I actually don't know how to say booger in Korean. I'm gonna have to research that in my private class on Monday. Did you get the link that I sent for Ed McMahon saying "Hi-yo"?
I'm probably. Let me click on it.
Hi-yo.
Oh, that's a short one. Oh wait.
Hi-yo.
It's a bit different from a "Hey-yo."
Oh, this is what I'm thinking about. It's Howard Stern says, "Hey now."
Hey now.
And that was from the Gary Shandling show.
Yeah, I got that from Adam.
Genius, by the way.
Adam Curry.
Oh, you get it from Adam.
Yeah. Hey now. Well, especially when.
Hey now.
We need to be careful of your words. Like, hey now, don't offend me like that. I guess that's
you
what
would like. I don't know if you've seen the Gary Shandling show. You would love it, by the way. It was ahead of its time for sure.
I haven't. Especially if it's television. I'm really a radio nerd. I don't watch that much television. That's why I'm so happy that podcasts are becoming a thing now. Although there's a lot of shit out there, but yeah, for the most part, I found a couple of podcasts I really enjoy. In particular,
yeah, isn't that weird? It feels more real.
I agree. Yeah. It also feels like they're already talking to an audience, which is just a much better feeling than, the overproduced cut and paste stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking about this when Steven Crowder was talking about the whole New Zealand massacre, and he was saying, listen to the manifesto and then watch the news. And I was thinking about the difference between a CNN type produced thing. I even thought, like, how do you even do a network nowadays? If you wanted to create a network, is that even possible? Like, I couldn't really grasp, but I thought, how easy is it for any person in their apartment, in their bedroom, even in a school classroom, to just create a YouTube channel and speak? And the difference in the way in the past, TV filtered what we watched, but now we personally can filter what we watch because there's so much selection and we can choose what we want to watch.
Yeah, there's so much choice.
So much power now to the people.
Yep.
Obviously, it's easy to get into a bubble with the YouTube recommendations.
Yeah, maybe a bit. But I think still people are not really, because they find links on a lot of places. Reddit is particularly successful at that, of course. But I think YouTube is really confused with me because I'll watch very left-leaning stuff followed by very right-leaning stuff. It doesn't know what to do with me. I don't think they have a class of this guy. They must feel like 2 people are watching the YouTube account. And like all day yesterday, all they did was watch Korean YouTube. So they're like, what language does this guy speak? Yeah, YouTube is also a little bit confused with me. Although I do mainly watch English content. This country just is not able to, appeal to me in any way. It's just even the.
You mean the
Dutch,
Netherlands?
Yeah, even the Dutch politics. It's just it sounds stupid. It sounds lame, and it's the same talking points over and over and over again. I mean, if you put your whole population on a postage stamp, that's what the Netherlands basically is. That's how small it is, and how it's just people repeating another.
Your
chicken.
whole population on a postage stamp.
That's how it feels. Like you put everyone on a very small amount of space and you let them talk with each other. So from the south to the north, from the east to the west, the same talking points, the same arguments. There's not a lot of originality here. And it gets tiring really quickly. And then add the lame sounding language. Everything you hear, which sounds moderately interesting in English, when you hear it in Dutch, it sounds boring, uninteresting. It sounds like stuff my grandparents would say or something like that. And it's just, I mean, I want to escape, man. Why do you think I'm doing a podcast with a crazy American?
I think you need to move to the United States.
If it were possible, I would do it in a heartbeat. Once a great nation, but now it's just like
we need to start a fund to allow you to move to the United States. You can claim refugee status.
I would not be able to get the future wife to join me. Her profession is the kind of profession where you talk a lot and you really have to master the language. And I sometimes bring it up. I tell her, well, a record number of Dutch people are emigrating these days.
Yeah, she could service the Dutch community in LA.
Yeah, or in Hungary. That would be a place I would consider Hungary. It's a beautiful country.
I think I found a commercial for your wife's services. Wow, that's pretty good.
That was some Dutch here.
That's some Dutch. For those of you that don't know Dutch, I am fluent in fake Dutch.
Yep, you are. I have to find my clip.
I just realized saying Mark is the equivalent of me queuing up the clip.
Yeah. We'll never ever get rid of this again. You and I, we might meet someday, and then we're in a grocery store, and you shout, "Mark." Yes, George. And then I play the clip.
Have you bought Pop-Tarts recently? How's the family? Mark.
Yes, George.
What time is the show tomorrow? A giant lake has appeared in the middle of Death Valley. For those of you that don't know, Death Valley is one of the largest national parks in America. It is very close to where I live. It's one of my favorite places to go. I actually thought to get married in Death Valley. That's how much I love Death Valley. It's about a 3-hour ride. And it's also one of the lowest spots that you can walk that's not in the ocean on the Western Hemisphere.
Mm-hmm. And it's extremely hot in the summer.
It's extremely dry. And apparently there's now a lake that has formed in this lowest spot. And by the way, I've seen this before. This happens every so many years. It's I haven't read the entire article. I just was clickbaited into clicking it. But it really is probably just 6 to 12 inches of water that have built up in this bed area.
Someone just peed over there.
Probably a lot of tourists have been there and they've peed. In fact, there's
that's why they call it Death Valley, huh?
Whew. I mean, you almost make me want to get into tour guide mode where I explain it, but
well, go ahead. We've got the time.
No, I really have nothing more to add except that there is a spot there called Bad Water, which has water year round, and that's the most famous tourist spot that you can go to. Of course, I'm not sure. Are you like this, Mark? I hate tourist areas. I absolutely despise them, and I avoid them.
Well,
For
yeah,
example, I don't go to temples in Japan at all.
because of
You
the
know, I mean,
tourists.
I just, oh my God, they're just packed with people.
I
It's
hear,
so commercialized.
I can relate to this in thought, at least. If I were to go to Japan and I would only see like white people there, that would be annoying.
Yeah, I went to visit my old friend in Kanazawa, which I had never been, and she recommended that we go to this place called Ochayagai, which is or Chayagai. The name doesn't matter. It's this historical area with a bunch of tea houses, which sounds fantastic, but there's 50% of the people are fat Americans walking down the street. And
Taking up
I mean,
space.
if I was there,
Kidding.
yeah, just taking up space, just breathing the air that they should. That it's this
Horrific
beautiful area, just really, and just people taking photos, and then you've got. Don't even get me started on the Chinese tourists that are just like, like it's everywhere. And keep in mind, I'm studying Chinese, so I'm allowed to do that, and I have Chinese friends. I'm allowed to do that very racist Chinese.
No. It's then in that case, it's not racist because you have friends.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm married to an Oriental.
There you go.
So you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, it's not even cultural appropriate, or is it? Or
it's not. No, it's totally. You can let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
But you know, I walked down the street and I remember I was with my friend Mike and I was like, this sucks. And he's like, I agree. And we left because if we were walking down this traditional tea street and there was kind of almost no one there, and some old lady walked up and was like, would you like to try some of our tea? That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But to be in a spot where people go just because they're told they need to go there and they go, it's not worth the time. Now, I will say this, something amazing happened in Narita. I think I might have said this on the last show, but I had avoided this temple the last time I was there. I have a friend named Yuki. And she really wanted me to go. And I think it really upsets people when you don't want to go to there. It does. Yeah, I think it's also the name of my cat, not to confuse myself, but my cat's also named Yuki because she's white.
Oh, there you go.
Not that that's a bad thing, being white. Oh my God. Can you hit that we've gone off the rails? Jesus.
We're going off the rails.
Anyway, we arrived in Narita quite late in the evening and we were going to go eat. And she said, hey, the temple's right around the corner. Do you want to see it? It's nighttime. There's going to be no one there. I said, hell yeah. And I went and it was fantastic. I wish I could visit every temple in the dead of the night in Japan. It was amazing. If me and you ever go to Japan, that's one of the top spots I want to take you.
All right.
At night with no tourists.
Sounds
at all.
great.
Then it's not a tourist spot.
Right. Yeah, of course.
So to sum up what I was saying, there's a lake in the middle of Death Valley right now.
How did it get there, George?
It rained.
It rained in Death
Honestly,
Valley. Isn't that rare?
Yeah, by the way, this was on IFL Science. For those of you that really care about this story, which is obviously, in my mind, clickbait, you can go check it out. Link in the show notes that Mark diligently does every day after the broadcast.
Yes. Reason why my Wednesdays and my Saturdays are always starting a bit slow is because it takes me a long time to make those show notes and everything. Oh, and I still have to, oh my gosh, just remembered I also still have to upload our podcast to BitChute, which I'm also using, which gave us a nice, well, sometimes I think our highest show was listened to like 76 times. I'm not sure if it's the whole show they listened to. Maybe they just clicked it.
On BitChute?
76 or something. Yeah, it's pretty high. It's pretty cool.
Wait. What's the...
It's so nice if you can just post something and people, see it and they can open it. And that's that's what's missing in the other side I was using, the PeerTube thing. Because
that's what it was. I was thinking.
Yeah.
PeerTube had like 0 views.
Yeah, nobody clicked it. Yeah, no, our most viewed episode is episode number 5 with 86 views. It's pretty cool.
I wonder what's so special about that one.
Well, we're both wearing matching shirts, coincidentally. with the black and the red, and you are wearing your heart-shaped shades. So that might be it. Oh, that's why I didn't do it. It apparently this is even cooler. I found a place where I could add the channel, the YouTube.
Oh,
so I don't have to do anything anymore. Just update the text a bit. Anyway, this is all meta. And to continue on that note, if you want to join us on Discord, please do so by going to www.markandgeorgeshow.com/Discord. You can listen to our stream via the /stream link. Don't know how you're listening to this right now. Could be YouTube, could be elsewhere, and the MP3s are all downloadable. And if you want to complain about George, just send an email to george@markandgeorgeshow.com. If you want to complain you can also send an email to george@markandgeorgeshow.com.
Right, or stfu@markandgeorgestfu.com.
Oh yes, that one will totally work. But reply is not guaranteed.
387 says Dutch sounds cute to him, by the way, in the YouTube comment area.
Schattig. Dank je. Schattig is the Dutch word for cute.
I bet you use it all the time with your son.
Well, he is very schattig, but I don't say it that much.
You don't want to give him a big head.
I don't know. It's just I don't like to use the word cute because I would use it with girls. How is that for being a sexist? Huh? A cute girl or a cool dude? I think I use cool, stoer.
You use cool with your kid? You're so cool.
He's a cool dude. Well, yeah, he's like a tough guy. Because he's really not. So it's just some fatherly reinforcement, I guess. Because, of course, he is cute. He's adorable.
He is.
He's the best thing ever happened.
You need to isolate him doing a Mark and George promo.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, I've got the...
You're listening to your Mark and George show.
Yeah, I had the No Agenda show opener. Remember that one?
Hello, everyone.
Yes, I do.
I'm Curry.
Yay. It's my boy.
You found that really fast.
Yep.
Jesus, that was quick. Hey, are you ready for the most absurd headline of the day, followed by another absurd headline?
Sure. I also have one that was a little bit more serious, and we are on the halfway point. So should I squeeze mine in first and then we can end on your two absurd ones? Or do you want to leave the...
Oh, are we close to ending already?
Well, we're already 1 hour, 15 minutes in.
I have three more things. Okay. But yeah, go ahead. You go first.
All right.
By all means, because I did do a few in a row.
I was watching a video from the Bill Whittle channel about...
Of course you were.
Well, yeah, I watch my stuff, This is one of the channels.
Can you link me to one of these? Because I actually still have not yet seen any Bill Whittle.
I keep sending you these, and you keep ignoring me. Let's see here. The last one I sent you was it's a little bit further up, and the text I added is, "Hey George, if there's one you can watch, make it this one." And it's when
Bill Whittle is being completely deplatformed.
No. Dude, these are no. That's not Bill Whittle. These guys, they are friendly, a little bit older white guys, just giving you sharp political commentary from the conservative perspective. It's a great channel.
The exact opposite of the Young Turks.
Well, but the Young Turks are so emotional about everything. There's not a lot of rationality. But the Bill Whittle channel is got a lot of good arguments. But okay, so I was watching a discussion about the Democratic platform, and at one point, Bill made the and this will be in the show notes, by the way. He made a comment about not being too worried too much because there are only people jumping on the Trump train, and the people who are on the Trump train are not likely to jump off anytime soon because things are going so well. So
okay.
I was listening and I was thinking, really, things going well? That stuff with the illegal immigration, is that going well? Did catch and release miraculously stop recently and I just didn't get the message? Was Hillary locked up and I'm totally out of the loop these days?
Yeah, she's serving 30,000 years for each email.
Huh?
For each email, she got 1 year of jail time.
Wouldn't that be nice, huh? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if there was just one politician, being thrown in jail for stuff?
It'll never happen.
Actually,
it'll never
has
happen.
To do. Exactly. And with what he said about people who are on the Trump train and aren't getting off, well, here's I don't mean to red pill him too much here, but I'm actually seeing a lot of people are at least flirting with the idea of getting off the Trump train, and not permanently, maybe just for a little while, look around a little bit for other option. Because the thing is, this Trump train is now over 2.5 years old, and it is running out of steam a little. The gag is getting tiresome, as we can see, because even the most loyal voices are starting to change here and there, and even say it makes them feel a little bit more liberated because now they don't have to force their arguments to fit inside of a pro-Trump narrative. And I'm seeing this with the younger generations in particular. Trump might not be so hot as they still seem to think. For one thing, there's not even an inch of his beautiful steel slats built. Remember that one? Let alone an inch of his big, beautiful concrete wall. The only thing that's happened is all old fencing has been renovated, or they build a little bit on really obscure places, but nothing actually happened. There are no pictures.
Yeah, but the problem is his base believes everything he says, and he always
my point is,
and says no.
Yeah, he's always boasting. But my point is his base. Yeah. Because another thing was ICE this week came out with a very frank public letter in which they sounded the alarm bell, saying to the president directly that his words do not match reality. And then, of course, there's the thing about not one corrupt politician being behind bars. And for me,
I also heard it was record illegal crossings very recently.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, that's also something that they mentioned in the letter to the president. Like, sir, you're talking about stuff, but the reality is very different. So this is the problem. We have to do catch and release because we don't have the resources to keep them here. So we have to let them go inside of the country. And I'm not sure if you've noticed this, and I'm not sure if the listeners noticed this, but it's just a feeling I have is that something changed after the midterms because his whole demeanor changed. And it's now at a point, I think people are getting tired of it. Even with the job numbers are being great, his two most important promises, build the wall and lock her up, those are yet to be fulfilled. And neither one.
Those were just memes to shout at a rally.
Yeah, well, people did really expect it to happen, but right now, neither one looks like it's going to happen at all. So my point is people are looking around for other options that might serve them better, like a guaranteed $1,000 a month from the Yang gang. Have you heard about this meme?
No.
His idea is
new guy. This is the new guy that's running for president on the Democratic side, right?
Yes, computer guy, and his most picked up point is the basic income for everyone.
This is the thing I hate most about the left. It's this obvious, super transparent purchasing of a vote. If you have a family that's struggling and they hear that they can get $1,000 a month, of course they're going to vote for you regardless of what your platform
because right now they can either vote for Trump and things are not changing in the way that they want, or they can vote for someone else who gives them the exact thing that seems to be happening right now already and get $1,000 a month. So You don't really lose anything at that point. And the discussion about, universal basic income already moved from cannot be done to how can it be done? So in my opinion, if things don't dramatically change in favor of Trump in a relatively short amount of time.
It's universal Medicare is where it's going. It's not about how can it be. It's like, well, all we have to do is have universal Medicare.
But sure. But the point I'm making is about Yang and Yang, and his point is universal basic health care. And if you look at the numbers, it's not that unrealistic because a big portion of the country, if you look at it from a certain angle, is already on universal basic health care. People over 65 are getting Social Security.
Which is Medicare. Medicare is what you're talking about.
Social Security, I don't know. Is it Medicare? I think it's...
Well, it is Social Security, but that's not... Oh, you're talking about universal basic income.
Yes.
But that's different because that's determined by how much you put into the system. For example, my income has been fairly high for a majority of my, at least recent years. That's adding to how much money I'll get back from Social Security because I've paid more into the system. So you're not getting universal basic income from Social Security. And I think this is where the left is.
No, I'm not saying that. No, what I'm saying is there are already a lot of people getting benefits. So
yes, but that is because you're getting your own money back. We pay in to a system.
Yeah, well, that's of course, that's especially what the boomers say while sitting on a big bag of money. This is our money. We save for this. And meanwhile,
no, legitimately though, you pay a portion of your salary in through your taxes and your FICA and Social Security and all of that, and you're supposed to get a portion of that back.
Yeah,
not all of it. I don't think you get all of it, and that is through Social Security,
right,
if you live long enough to get it.
So change it a little bit around and everyone can get it.
I hope
just $1,000 a month. Well, I think this is one of the reasons why people are looking outside of the Trump movement for other ideas. Like, for example, the other thing is about Elizabeth Warren wanting to break up the big tech companies.
Can we ban her name from the show? I don't like her.
Well, that would be censorship.
Can I tell you? As much as I root for the left, at the same time I root for the right, because I'm very bipolar at this point. I really kind of want Trump to win again, just so that everyone on the left
because of the people. Because of the people. But we're talking about the ideas that they have. So not the whole Yang idea. And don't forget, I
don't know the Yang idea from the Warren idea. All I know is I don't want people to get free money. That. I know, but I really don't. I mean, I don't know the details, and nor do I care. Unless they get to become the Democratic nominee, then I'll start really thinking about it.
No. That's too late. Right now, you can pick the meaty parts from the flesh, of these.
Yeah, but is there any Democratic hopeful that's going to say, let people earn their living and work hard for something? It's not going to exist. It's
but that's not really the point at this part.
And we need to Robin Hood the rich and take money from them and give it to the poor people that don't do anything in their life.
Well, that's
these do-nothing people.
The AOC idea, but we're not really talking about that. We're more talking about using the useful ideas of, running candidates, because the Trump train doesn't seem to be all that right now. So it's perfectly fine. And it might send a very strong message to the current president. Listen, you have to change things. You have to really do stuff that you either campaigned on or that reinforce the same kind of, American spirit that people had before the midterms. Because if not, then people will might not vote for him. And that's it's basically the same thing as when people say, oh, Trump is playing 4D chess. Well, people can also play 4D chess, and I guess this is one of the ways people can do that is by not being too loyal on a president who right now does not seem to be any more than barking. All bark.
All right, I'm gonna make a big prediction. You ready?
Yes, should I write it down in the prediction book?
Let's write it down, and I want you to put in the show notes. You ready?
Oh, in the show notes too.
First of all, it's demonstrably provable Trump is not playing 4D chess. This is not my prediction, but the guy is stumbling through the presidency. Let's just say that for what it is.
Yeah.
Lying at every turn, trying to shape the narrative to his own vision of what he is. And I think if he is losing any basis,
but it's not about any of that, though. My point is not about any of that. My point is that there are so many things going on right now, and he could have picked everyone, to pick a fight with. He could have, what's his name? Oh God, the bald guy. Well, basically, the point is he could have picked a fight with anyone, but he chose on Twitter recently. He chose one of the people who supported him from day one and always tried to keep him to his promises, Ann Coulter. He said to Ann Coulter, he called her names. He chose on Twitter, on the only platform that he himself controls. He chose to attack someone that's on, the right side. The proper side.
On. He attacks everybody.
No, he never.
Unless it's Putin. Think about it. Unless it's Putin, the guy has never attacked anybody.
Can you name me one other person from his own movement who he attacked? He could have attacked even Paul Ryan, for example. He could have attacked, what's his other name? He could have attacked Pelosi.
Hang on, but I don't know.
But he chose Ann Coulter, and that to me gave me a very bad.
His best friend to calling you the devil.
You know what she said? What? She said, "Mr. President, keep your promises." That's what she said.
And what did he say?
Wacky nut job Ann Coulter doesn't get it.
Okay,
something like that. He attacked one of their own. And that, to me, was a very big signal. Like, even the Twitter platform, seriously, are you going to use the only platform you have that is free from, a media spin, that is free from, any kind of biased narrative? You can say anything to anyone, and instead of choosing Pelosi, instead of choosing Paul Ryan, instead of choosing anyone, you're choosing Ann Coulter, really, and that to me,
very upset about this.
No, I'm not. No, I'm just. It's high energy. I enjoy this kind of thing, and to be honest, I also feel a little bit liberated by the fact that I am now able to look more broadly around. I don't have to, wrap my own arguments into some kind of Trump-supported narrative while I'm looking at all the things he's been doing for the U.S. versus all of the things he's been doing for Israel. To be frank with you, like moving the embassy and now on the Golden Heights and stuff, and I don't even want to get into all of that. It's just my point is that right now you're seeing a president that's not strong at all. He's
because he lost the Congress. If you lose he lost the Congress, he doesn't have control. All three branches are not controlled by the Republicans anymore. And that's where that change happened after the midterms.
Well, yeah, but you kind of knew that was going to happen because it happens every time that there's a midterm election.
Yeah.
The people who are satisfied won't vote anymore. So the people who are not satisfied will step up to the plate and they will vote, and boom. So like I'm saying, people are just, they're looking around. I'm not saying they are permanently leaving the Trump train. Things that are not happening. The other two things I mentioned.
Here's something that happened early on. Rachel Maddow, by the way, who's now the #1 rated cable news show, apparently. She said something really, really early on, and I think that's why she started getting so many good ratings. She said she never focuses on what he says. She has a really good style of only reporting on what is done by somebody, not what they say. So she's been ignoring the Twitter. Because I think Trump will purposely do things to misdirect our attention in his 4D chess method. He'll do something crazy on Twitter, and you think, well, what else is actually happening now that made him do something to take away our attention?
Well, right now he did something I think is really irresponsible on Twitter. So, yeah, if you look at his actions, and especially the actions of the last couple of weeks.
What did he really do? He called someone a name, and now you're upset about it. But what really happened in Trump's day that day? Was it really about Ann Coulter, or was it the fact that Manafort's judge?
I like, by the way, how you are making this, making it personal, sound personal for me, because I'm just having fun here, and I'm a Dutch guy. I don't give two shits, to be honest with you, about anything that's going to happen. It's not making me angry.
I was trying to transition into how both of the judges in the Manafort case said explicitly, this has nothing to do with Russian collusion. This has nothing to do with the Russia case. They said it specifically because the lawyer for Manafort said this proves that there has been no collusion, and even Trump was saying that. So the judges felt this has nothing to do with it or about collusion, because Trump's trying to drive the narrative that this proves there's no collusion.
Yeah, of course.
Which leads me to believe there's collusion.
Oh, really? If they had something, even no, not yet, because you were going to give me a prediction.
No. Oh, yeah, my prediction. And here's my prediction. My crazy prediction. My gut feeling prediction. I can't even say this guy's name right. I think it's Beto O'Rourke.
Beto.
I think it's Beto, not Beta.
Beto
O'Rourke. He will become the Democratic nominee.
Ooh, really? Because in show 12, you said Bernie's going to do well and will become number 3.
I said he would be number 3. Now, I'm predicting right now, currently in the current race, Beto O'Rourke, because he looks like JFK. That's my prediction.
Because he looks like JFK. Should I add that?
He looks like a Kennedy.
Because
he looks like a Kennedy. That's going to go well, barring any scandal, because, normal people get kicked out based on scandal. Trump's the only person on earth that seems to no matter what he does, he's okay. Actually, they used to call Bill Clinton Slick Willie because he had his own share of scandal.
But then he used this Slick Willie and it changed everything, huh?
Yeah, well, that's his Twitter account when he talks to young women.
Hi. You want to see my Slick Willie?
Are you ready for the my two crazy
the retarded headlines?
Retarded. I use the word retarded. I apologize. My mentally challenged headlines. Are you ready?
I am so ready. Just hit me. Yeah. So, question, Mark. Yes.
I said, are you ready for? I didn't say Mark. Mark.
Yes, George.
Are you ready for the crazy headline? Woman sues Olive Garden after cheesy stuffed mushrooms allegedly burned her mouth.
Well, that is a proper reason to sue. The cheese in your shrooms burnt me. Isn't this sounds similar to that time in, I think it was somewhere in the 90s. It was one of the first with a hot coffee.
But the McDonald's one actually has legs. That case, actually, if you read up on that, they were warned a lot that their coffee was too hot, and they purposely were making it much hotter than it needed to be so that the smell of the coffee would waft out. It was a sales thing for them, but they had been warned many, many times.
I am actually stunned by this. You know that?
And she was only asking for $8,000 to pay for the medical bills.
Oh,
and she wasn't asking for millions of dollars. It was this
is the McDonald's story.
I'm not even talking about the stupid Olive Garden story. I'm talking about the fact that this old lady I don't think she had malice. If you really read up on the story, McDonald's was completely in the wrong, and they could have just given her $8,000 and they wouldn't have I think it was $129 million or whatever they ended up paying. I think it was 1.2.
So why didn't they settle?
Because they didn't want to pay anything. Because most people, when they're told no, accept it.
Yes.
Munch.com, I didn't realize it was Vice until now. I want to read the first part of the article, which my theory is the first paragraph of any article you can skip. I'm going to test this theory by reading the first part of the article. You ready?
Yep.
Because this is always the fluff bullshit part. Like most of the things on the menu at Olive Garden, the stuffed mushrooms are full of melted cheese. If you've ever eaten a pizza roll or mozzarella stick, I'm going to jump down to the second paragraph.
Can I tell you something about Vice?
Yes.
I had a friend once. Was very
Yes.
nice experience. No, I had a friend once who worked at Vice, the Netherlands, and he told me Vice is an ad company. They create original content, but their core business is to make ads for their customers. And all of the original content is only there to give the platform a little bit of a boost so that they can sell more ads. Well, this sounds like an ad, doesn't it?
For Olive Garden, right? You
Yeah.
know what, let's not even finish reading the article because I have a secondary follow-up article from Vice. I think it's the same. Oh my God, I wasn't ready. Yes. Couple names firstborn child after Olive Garden.
Well, there you go.
That's it, right? That proves your theory, because you're not going to not go to Olive Garden because the food is too hot. And this is from the exact same munchies.vice.com.
Imagine that.
By the way, apparently the girl's name was Olivia Garton.
Of course. Why not?
Yes.
Yep. And she only ate mushrooms for a year and had very nice experiences.
We were a young married couple fresh out of college, struggling to figure out how our theater and music degrees were going to pay. It's funny, they actually wrote "we're going to pay the bills," not "were going to pay the bills." In Arkansas. Because of those troubles, we ate Olive Garden literally every day during that period, and it helped us get by until we were back on our feet. You don't realize how much you spend on food every week until you have a large time where you aren't paying for it. It was staggering. Yeah, that is totally an article. This is totally an ad for Olive Garden.
Vice is an ad company.
Well, isn't every newspaper and website that has articles an ad company?
These days, yeah, probably right. They probably are, but they don't admit it as easily. CNN,
True.
an ad organization. Well, yeah, maybe. I kind of like that. I kind of, it sounds, CNN, the ad agency.
24 hours ads.
There you go.
Sponsored by news.
Not even. Ads. Sponsored by more ads.
Mark.
Hi.
Have you played the game Anthem? Have you heard of this game?
I haven't even heard of it.
It's a big flop, apparently, by the way, from what I've heard. I don't know anything about the game, but they spent millions and millions of dollars making it, and it's doing horrible.
Yep. I'm not surprised.
I'll wait for the sound, and then I'll give you my final headline. Anthem players discover removing gear makes you more powerful, and also how to have infinite health. This also could be an ad, by the way, for Anthem. I just now realized I've been tricked by the media to read their ad.
Yes, this is why we need in-depth analysis on the Mark and George show, where we dive into the topics we talk about, where we make dissertations. Well, maybe not that far, but where we, analyze things. That's the kind of the direction I'm trying to work on. Get a bit of political commentary. Also, not take ourselves too seriously, of course. Rather not at all. But yeah, this is the danger with shallow news stories that I have also, believe me, in my own quest for content, this is also I stumbled on. But yeah, I was pretty often it happened that I thought, well, this sounds more like kind of a commercial.
Well, I know, like every day in my news feed, I use an app called Smart News, which is fantastic for aggregating news. But I swear every single day in the news for you section, there's an article about McDonald's.
Yeah, that's totally legitimate.
Every day.
It's always food or makeup or, life improvement, life hacks, the tech stuff, always big tech stuff. Yeah. It's,
not sure what just happened, but you sound excited.
Well, that's always how tech news sounds, right? Hey, everybody, it's time for Tech News, Tech News, Tech News.
With Mark.
Fact.
Who's that guy, Leo Laporte?
Yes, I do. He's the founder of Twit, which is a media company, basically. Talk a lot about stuff.
Yeah, every time I listen to Leo Laporte, I don't like Leo Laporte. I like him. Like, I think he's fantastic, but he talks about quote-unquote high-tech things.
Yes, you just scored a lot of points on the
never
No
high-tech enough for me. Oh, I scored points?
Yes.
They agree with me?
Yes. You scored a lot of points. No, I mean on the No Agenda stream as well.
Oh my God,
John
this guy
used to be
he's like
a regular on the show every Sunday.
Oh, really?
For the big show. But you know, the relationship between John Dvorak and Twit is not what it used to be. And so the show, of course. It's
here's what I don't like about him. By the way, this isn't like planned or planted or anything like that. I literally had no idea about this. I think I've listened to, unfortunately, maybe 20-minute segments of the No Agenda stream of the No Agenda show. I literally haven't heard the whole thing, so I don't know all of their.
You're
beefs.
an outsider.
Leo Laporte. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know what reminded me of Leo Laporte, but he would do this thing. This thing with Kim Commando. Like, they talk about something as if it's super high tech, but they're speaking obviously to an audience that doesn't know anything about computers. And they're like, after the commercial, we'll talk about what that second mouse button can be used for. And it's like,
yes. Have you ever watched?
Do you know what the scroll wheel can be used for on your mouse button? It's like never anything important.
But first, a word from our sponsors. Have you ever seen
Logitech
a device
mouse.
like this? It has 2 buttons and a scroll wheel. And if you click it, something happens on the screen. And not just anything, but something you chose.
No longer do you have to learn tedious keyboard shortcuts to navigate the internet.
Have you seen the security program with Steve Gibson?
No.
Well, you know, let's just say, yeah, it's so slow. It's so slow. Steve needs a lot of time to set up his subject, you know, the story he wants to talk about, and it takes forever to finish it. I think the shows are like 4 hours long or camera, where the interview with Steve and Leo he walks out of the camera shot and he grabs foods and start eating stuff. Or I've even seen him, changes his garment once, like totally uninterested, but also, yeah, I can step out 5 minutes, and when I come back, I'll still be able to pick up wherever I left off. Yeah, now Twit is interesting. People should check it out, twit.tv, or, you know, save yourself the time. Anyway, I think George just went to the bathroom.
Oh, shit. I was talking the whole time. I had my button muted. I'm sorry. I literally was like, please don't promote Twit. And then I started talking. And I was like, when's Mark going to let me finish my statement? But I was on mute. Sorry about that. No, this reminds me
to kick your producer there.
It's funny, like literally nothing changed. I was talking and you kept talking. Nothing changed even though I'm unmuted. Anyway, YouTube tutorial time. No, I just wanted to say, you ever look up something on YouTube and you just want a quick answer, and the first 1 minute of the video is, hey guys, today we're going to be talking about this problem XYZ. And as you know, and they go on for like 2-3 minutes explaining what they're going to do.
Yes, and then a word from their sponsor. Hey, I found the ideal mattress. Yeah, or here's a drinking bottle that you really need to have. Oh man,
that's why I really appreciate there are some really fantastic people that just go, you know, the title of the video says what it's going to be. You don't have to explain it, although I'm guilty of it myself, over explaining what I'm getting ready to talk about. But it is nice to just say, all right, you go here, you go here, you go here, and then you've solved your problem. Bye. Subscribe. Yeah. Hit that like button.
I really hate the native ads. We are never, ever going that route with this show. Never. By the way, here's a word from our sponsor. Have you ever tried a pen? Well, not this pen. No, never, ever, ever. And the reason is simple. You lose listeners. It's also, you sound like a telemarketer. Have you seen those guys from like the Shapiros and the, what's he working for, Daily something? And in the middle of the story. But first, we need to talk about something. I just found a very nice bed sheet or whatever. I mean, like, what are you doing?
No,
you're making a show.
Is your browsing history secure?
And then I would.
Oh God! Hit the sound. No, come on.
No, I'm not gonna screw up our useful sound
just
for
do it once. Just do it once.
This is George learning how to become more professional on the Mark and George Show.
ExpressVPN has special deal for Mark and George listeners. 30% off your first month subscription.
Hey guys,
link in the description below.
I just tried the VPN. Well, the Dark Sewer Network, for those of you who don't know what that is, check out nicktherat.com. There is a very interesting promotion for Sir Bemrose's VPN. You got to check that out.
He has a VPN?
Sir Bemrose VPN.
I want to hear it. I want to hear the promotion.
Yep. Listen to the Nick the Rat Show.
Oh, I gotta go find it.
Of
you don't
course,
have a clipboard.
Nick the
I
Rat.
barely even listen to No Agenda, and they're the whole entire reason the stream even exists.
Huh?
Come on, I've listened to Nick the Rat. He's great. I just don't have time to find a Sir Bemrose VPN. Come on, man, hook me up.
I might have something else though.
From the people that brought you Sir Bemrose VPN comes an all-new experience that you can have in the comfort of your own home. Are you too much of a loser to go outside and play basketball? Are you too shy and stinky to go to the movies and hang out with your friends? Are you a ugly duckling and can't get a date on Tinder even though you're rich? Well, don't worry, because now you can get Sir Bemrose Brain Games. It's just like virtual reality, but instead of you seeing it on a screen that's slapped to your face, it's actually shooting brainwaves right into your skull and making you experience it firsthand.
Well, you get the idea. The whole thing
You
is
know what I love about Nick the Rat?
2 minutes long.
You know what I love about Nick the Rat? Everything he makes, he didn't plan it. He literally just said it completely impromptu and then put sounds over it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea how the rat works in mysterious ways,
No, play the Dark Sewer Network. I don't know if you have it, the one that we made, which was the same thing. We just literally impromptu said a bunch of things, and it turned into our promotion for.
In a world with
Sorry.
green humor that really fucking sucks, you're listening to the Dark Sewer Network, where we talk as if we're friends and say, fuck the fucking PC culture. It's the Dark Sewer Network, and it's not really a sewer. It's where all of our hearts lie. We lie in the sewer together. We say racist things. We say sexist things. It doesn't matter here on the Dark Sewer Network.
You want to promote the other one we made as well?
I might as well go ahead.
You're listening to the Dick Sucking Network. It's a duck sucking. The Dark Sewer Network.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like those.
Beautiful.
Those are very much in the Nick the Rat style.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, man. And you were ready for that jazzy tune to take us out.
Yeah, it's 1 hour 55 minutes. We like to keep it under the 2 hour mark because of YouTube live stream constraints. Whatever, George will explain this in another episode. But for now, this is it already. Man, 2 hours flew by like
No, not even Max 8.
No, those are grounded. I'm talking about
Yes.
the thing that's still flying, man.
Oh, okay. Well, let us know if this was better than show 16. The best.
Way.
Me? No. Did you? I mean, I don't check my email.
I didn't either. Not yet.
Second attempt to end the show. What you guys don't know is me and Mark talk for another 5 hours off the air.
Oh yeah, sometimes on the air, but just not on YouTube. People really need to check out the stream, markandgeorgeshow.com/stream. It's been
That's
fun.
how you'll get
Next show will be next Tuesday, the 19th. Same time, same place, depending on where you are, because some places have daylight savings time. And in Europe, we start an hour early recently. Anyway, we'll see. Bye, everyone. Or join us for a little bit of post talk on the No Agenda stream. Why not?